YouTube, this is Valkyrie D Queen here for another review of Black Clover, manga chapter 262. So we start off right where we left off, with Notch introducing, himself, as the vice captain of the Black Bulls to Asta. Not only that, we found out on the demon on Notch's shoulder can talk and communicate with Notch. That is very interesting, because then it puts a whole spin dynamic on what his powers could be. It has something to do with shadows, of course. But now he has a demon, so that begs the question. Does he have some type of devil magic? Is he associated with a devil? Is he slightly possessed by a devil, but he knows how to control and communicate with it, so it's not overtaking him completely? It makes it much more interesting, a very more mystery to it. So we found out on the demon's name on the shoulder is Gimadello. He starts talking, and he starts like making fun of Asta, basically. Oh, what's the deal with Shorty and all this other stuff. And we also find out that his form, this little form right here that's on Notch's shoulder, isn't his true form. His true form can get even bigger. And that begs the question, how big can this demon get? And that is scary, because we don't know much about Notch. He showed up. We saw him a little bit spying and taking information from the Spade Kingdom and going back to the Clover Kingdom. And now we've seen him here, and he's confronting Asta. And he says he's the vice captain of the Black Bulls. But he also says he doesn't even like Yami. That he hates him sometimes. So it begs the question, and even raises an eyebrow with Asta. And Asta even says, well, I don't trust you, basically, to Notch's face, and saying, I don't really trust you, but this is an only option where I can learn more about my devil and control my devil so I can save Yami. And so that is interesting. And Notch actually respects that. Oh, you're honest. So that's an interesting character development of Notch, that he is very blunt about what he hates and what he likes in a person and what he doesn't like in a person. We also see how easily Notch dismisses Gomodello. Yeah, he just basically very dismisses him very easily, and he disappears. And we also found out he only's been to the hideout once before he had to go off and basically spy for the Spade Kingdom. There's also a lot of, he also is very blunt. Notch is very blunt, and basically says to Asta, which is understandable because Asta doesn't have any powers at all. And he doesn't have any magic or no mana. And Notch mentions this, that he has no power or ability at all. You're not really special at all, but I will still help you and train you. Rest tonight, and I will take you to our training tomorrow. And that is a very interesting aspects, and that's the interactions between Notch and Asta. Then we move to the captains meeting in the main Clover Kingdom captains meeting table. You have all the captains there. You have, of course, Charlotte, Nozel, Jack, Fagolion, Yano, Dorothy, Rill, Kashir of the Purple Orchids. He was the older man from the Elves arc. And then, of course, you have Julian looking very serious on his young face. And then you also see Yuno, who's very upset. He's very upset with himself and what's going on, he realizing he doesn't have a lot of power either. He needs to train more just to protect his kingdom and his Magic Knight squad. Because he was the one basically he feels very disappointed that he lost his captain, because he did. He lost his captain, and he's very disappointed and very probably sad and angry with himself and the kingdom around him a little bit. I think not too much, just a little bit. Like, we as Magic Knights need to get stronger. I need to get stronger to protect our kingdom and to protect my captain and my squad mates. That's where I see Yuno coming from. And then, of course, you have Charlotte, who has a cold persona and makes a crack. Well, that's on Yami's fault for getting captured, but a weak little man. Well, not little man, but of course a weak man. But in the inside, she's like, no, no, no. She's really panicking on the inside. No, no, it can't be Yami. She's worried about him, obviously, on the inside, but keeping a cold persona in front of her, which is not shocking because that's her personality and everything. And she's worried, and then she's like, oh, why didn't I tell him how much I loved him before this happened? So she hasn't completely confessed to Yami. Like, she almost did, like, I kind of like you, and went on a date, but in the end, Yami wasn't really going for that, so he probably misinterpreted it and thought it was just a friendly meetings and gathering of knowledge of what devils are. Now, Yuno expresses how powerful the Dark Triad is and how easily it came in and how they took 2 captains. And that is a point. They did take 2 Magic Knight level captains of the Clover Kingdom and just took them. And only one, basically one, that was really truly defeated almost. Not completely dead, but at least a little bit defeated where they could at least do something or bind him or at least make him stop doing whatever he's doing. Jack kind of makes fun of Yano because he's not sure about Yano's status or how powerful he is, and not only that, he's upset. I would see Jack is very upset with Yami getting kidnapped, basically, because Jack and Yami have this really rival type of personality between them. They rival, of course, between the two of them. And they have a lot in common, so they probably even like each other better than the rest, because Jack doesn't seem like he's from, like, high nobility, and Yami isn't at all. He's a foreigner. So those two would actually probably get along. And that's why they also are in competition with each other and have this rivalry. So you have Jack being concerned in his way, basically. And Fergolion stops this and makes the statement of not knowing anything, even the state of what Yami and William is. Rill is shocked, and he makes a comment that they could be dead, which upsets Charlotte significantly. And she gives him a dark look and says, you never say such frivolous guesses like that. And that's coming from, her deep concern for Yami and how she cares for him. Jack tries to leave, says he'll probably go out on his own. He doesn't really say it, but he's like, forget this meeting, I'm leaving. And Nozel stops him. Nozel stops him, and he comments, are you just going to go out and try to fight this Spade Kingdom on your own? And Jack says it has nothing to do with them, and Charlotte stands up and says, yes, it affects the whole kingdom. Her private thoughts is, I want to go save Yami. And Nozel said he's not the only one who wants to kill these fools. So Nozel wants to kill these fools as well. Nozel does have some respect to William and, of course, probably to Yami, because they're all captain squad members. They're part of the same kingdom. They all have to work together in some capacity, and they all see each other in meetings. So he probably has some begrudgingly respect to Yami. Not only that, he really in the end, he allowed Noel to go into the Black Bulls under Yami instead of going under the Silver Eagles with him. And that was probably the best thing he's ever done for Noel. And I think he realizes that, and he's probably a little jealous and upset because he can't be the good big brother he wants to be to Noel because of the history and everything, and not mentioning this demon and all sorts of crap. All sorts of stuff. And so he probably begrudgingly he probably like gets like after a meeting, oh, how Noel is, and he probably fishes for how Noel is through Yami. And I can see that. I can see him just minting a comment, and probably Yami likes to brag to him how well Noel is doing, and it kind of makes him sad and jealous and happy at the same time. I could really see Nozel not expressing those emotions, but feeling those emotions, because he does really have the facade of a blank face. A blank face of not giving anything away. And then, of course, they start arguing and everything, and Fergolion stands up with a flaming arm and asks for those three that are arguing, Charlotte, Jack, and Nozel, to stop. They need to control themselves. And then Notch suddenly shows up in the room with Asta underneath his arm. He suddenly shows up into the room, stating that he hates people who can't conduct a meeting. Still blunt and still stating what he does and does not like. And he hates that they can't conduct a meeting and claims that they are motivated. So he does kind of comment them that you're motivated to save your crew with your teammates, basically your captain mates, and that you guys are incompetent of running a meeting at the same time. And that's probably going to be a personality trait of Notch, that he's just going to bluntly say what he thinks, which is interesting, makes the story more, I guess, progressive in a way. Just stating, I don't like this, I don't like this, I like that, I like that, in one character can be very obvious and very telling of the world and how he views it. How Notch views the world and how he interacts with the world, of what he doesn't like and what he does like. And it also makes it interesting. Now, probably next chapter, we're going to get Notch revealing what he found on the Spade Kingdom and the ritual and everything that has to deal with Yami and William. And because he's probably going to reveal his spy work that he has done and the information he procured from the Spade Kingdom. So that's going to be an interesting concept next chapter. We're going to probably learn a little bit more of what Notch has been doing, and that's going to be real fun to do and real fun to understand. So like, comment, and subscribe to Valkyrie D Queen here. And of course, what do you think Notch is going to reveal? What did you think of the captain's meeting? What do you think of Notch himself? Is he going to end up being a triple agent or a double agent for the Spade Kingdom and betray the Clover Kingdom? Or he's the double agent for the Clover Kingdom? Like, comment, and subscribe down below. And peace out, YouTube.